it didn't take me long to fall asleep, and when I did, I slept clear through to my alarm, and I rarely do that. I'm usually up 2 or 3 times a night just to, I don't know, just to get up. You know, I just wake up, but not last night, man. It was nice. So now I'm just trying to wipe the sleep out of my eyes, man. You're coming in good down here, so the band's pretty short this morning. I gotta put a high warning, high RF sign on this tuner, man. It's just making me nervous. The more power that I'm running, I got this big ass balanced tuner. It's like open and exposed, man. I accidentally burnt myself on it the other day. I wasn't paying attention, and I went to go grab something, and my pinky touched the cap, the big vacuum capacitor, and gave me a nice little burn.
That's one hell of a wake-up alarm. Yeah, you're 25, man. This band's in good shape. It's going to crap out pretty soon once the gray line comes on over. But, yeah, cool, man. Well, that's good. I got some sleep, too. I usually don't sleep, but you're not supposed to have that happen to you until you get my age. So, I don't know. That's good. It's good to have a good sleep. You'll be able to power through your day today without hitting the wall, hopefully.
Yeah, I hope so. Hopefully it won't be too, See, man, that's cool. Like, I live in the city here, and a 13-year-old kid just got killed right on the other side of town, and, real popular football player, like, and, I mean, there's been a lot of young kids getting killed here this year. It's been messed up. But anyway, they had, it looks like probably 100 and 200, maybe 300 people in the street. God, maybe 500. And they all had balloons, and they all let them go. Like, I mean, where are them balloons going to go? They're going to come down and get caught in power lines and cause power outages and cause litter and trash and going into the ocean. Maybe I'm just being an old coot at 32 years old. Who knows?
Well, like, everyone's got an opinion, so you're entitled to it, and you're probably right. If they're using aluminum, well, yeah, they'll resort to, especially if they hit the high tension lines, that could trip one of those breakers and cause quite an inconvenience, especially out in the city. Yeah, I'm out here on the Cape. I'm in basically farmland. Well, not really, but compared to you. Although lately this place is, there's a few shootings around here once in a while. There used to be a place around here called Puffer Bellies, and all the thugs would come from Rhode Island and Boston and do their drug deals, and there'd be a shooting every Saturday. So I even talked to the owner, because he owns half the Cape. I go, why are you doing this? Why are you running a game like that around here? This is the Cape. He goes, it pays the bills. I'm like, yeah, okay, well, we'll see you later. But luckily he closed it down. So, hey, is this modulation sound alright, or am I hitting it too hard?
No, it sounds alright. I did notice last night you were hitting it a little hard. I went back to listen to the recording for some reason, and I didn't realize it at the time. But yeah, you were hitting it pretty hard last night. But no, it sounds fine right now. It does sound fine. So what flex is that? What flex are you using?
I backed it down a little. I got to learn how to drive this thing again. At 6,500, I'm just using my PC right now to drive it. And Alpha 76A. But ever since I rewired everything, you know how you neaten everything up? Well, now everything's all screwed up. I'm coming over my own audio system here. And I had a massive ground hum. I actually had to ground the boom of my microphone. Sometimes if you ground everything, things get worse, so I don't know. But the Flexes don't have an audio amplifier, so I'm using a cheap 1970 realistic amplifier. It's not horrible, but it is coming over it a little bit. Match is good though. The meter's telling me about 800 watts, dead key about 200, so that'll do it for now, I guess. Yeah, the band's in good shape. I'll see if someone else wants to come in there too, because I'm not one of the normal humans out here in the morning. Hopefully this doesn't become a habit. Actually, it might. I have a feeling they're going to call me back into work pretty soon here. Things are starting to open up, and hopefully they're going to be like, surprise, you're on. So we'll see what happens. I guess I should ID. K1 GTX.
Yeah, I don't hear nobody. Why does your audio rack look so familiar to me, like I've seen it somewhere else before? Like I've seen it on Facebook or something. In a group, in a radio group that didn't have to do with this, but that had to do with a certain band. I don't know why I think that. But I recognize the rack. I recognize your rack. Yeah, this ANAN, I'm running the 200D. Doesn't have an audio amplifier either. Well, I don't think it does. Maybe it does. It's got a headphone jack in the front. So yeah, I guess it does have an audio amplifier. But anyway, I use virtual audio cable to run my audio out. It's a USB mic pre, Persona's audio box, and for my microphone. And then I use the internal processing. It's built into just like 2 EQs and some multi-band compression built into the ANAN. And then it's got 2 speaker outs, digital, the digital codec A to D or D to A jacks on the back, and I have these Edifier bookshelf speakers plugged in, to the mic pre. And then I have a wire 3.5 millimeter TRS cable going from the headphone jack of the ANAN to the PC, which I use for the recording audio. So because I can't use virtual audio cable, I can't use like one virtual audio cable pair for 2 things at once. So that's why I have the cable set up for the recording. So it works good, But yeah, you're still coming in real strong here, man. And I'm running about 270 watts of carrier, so I could probably stand to back it down some, but now that I've fixed the amplifier and wired it correctly, everything seems to be running a lot better. A lot more better. No more carrier dropping after like a minute and 50 seconds. So that's a good thing. K1 GTX W3 MMR. I know I heard Henry, and I think I heard Chris back in there too.
Yeah, let them pick it up here. I have no copy here on them.
Alright, I don't have any copy on Chris. I see his carrier, and I can tell it's him because of the upper sideband energy. Henry, I'm going to turn it to you. N480Q, N480Q, you turn it to Chris, AJ1G. And then Chris, try to turn it to Wes up in Cape Cod. Out on the Cape, K1 GTX, and I'll relay if need be. N480Q, good morning, Henry, W3 MMR. He's in there, but I got no copy.
The 191 is designed to run on Stargate electrical system with the beautiful radio. Actually, was used as an aircraft radio in the late 30s when the aircraft was still 12 volt. That's how it was developed. And then they used the 12 volt versions during the war in vehicular use in scout cars and base stations and, out in the field with generators and things like that. That's what I'm running. I'm running a 12-volt dynamotor and a Group 24 battery and a 10-amp charger, keeping the thing charged. This is a long. I've had this thing running for over an hour here. I think it's the longest I've ran it continuously in a long, long time. Charger's keeping up with the load, and the thing's getting nice and toasty. There's a nice aroma of hot MFT varnish here in the shack. So it's kind of a nice smell. It brings back a lot of memories of the old days working on this stuff when I was a kid first started playing around with military radios. Let's see, going back to, this is West up there in Dallas. What do you do up there in the wall? Besides all the beautification there, that's for a good page there, West. Yeah, a friend of mine, I just got tied out of electric circuitry by a real young guy that's here with us. He used to work at a company called Hydroid up there. He's living right on the Cape, right by the Thorn Bridge now. What are you up to up there, West? K1GTX, K1G.
All right, very good. And I also heard you, I think it was N4UQ. All right, hey, that's cool, running that military stuff there. I used to have an old thing. I can't believe I threw it all out. I had some old military equipment just way back before I had my license. And boy, it would have been fun to have that now with the dynamotors winding up and all that stuff. You can get those things sounding pretty good, too. I am having a tough time copying URS-9, but my signal's S9, but... yeah, very good. All right, well, I'm going to pass it back over to Perry. Nice talking to you, and maybe we can pick you up again. Like I said, I got a lot of noise since I put my antenna up. It's not you, so what are you going to do? K1GTX over to, yeah, right, W3MMR.
Yeah, K1 GTX W3 MMR, real good, West. But you're just like flat out bombing in here. Chris, you came up. When you first came back, you were real low, but now your signal came up, and now your audio. It seems like you're hitting it really hard. I don't know if you bumped something or tried changing something. But on synchronous, it sounds like you're hitting it real hard. And then when I switch over to regular AM, man, it's like almost unintelligible. Yeah, you can see like your carrier fold, like on the pan adapter, you can see your carrier folding back every time you modulate there. So I don't know. I'm sure it's just a military rig kink. You got a lot of patience, man, running that stuff. I'll get some military gear eventually. I just don't have the space right now for it. Steve, KD3HT sends me links from time to time to some military stuff for sale. Like there's an ART-13 on eBay that was for a relatively decent price, but I don't have the room, man. It stinks. But put it this way: if one came across that was a good enough deal, I'd buy it. I'd keep it in store. I'd put it somewhere, store it in my son's room or something like that. That's what happens when he's not here. He lives with his mother in South Carolina. When he's not here, his room ends up getting used for storage, for radio stuff. So, And that was N4 Echo Delta Queen, Wes, N4 EDQ. That's Henry down in Blue Ridge, Georgia, a good friend of mine. He's a regular here in the morning, and Henry's a real fantastic guy. Hell of a radio operator. And Henry, what rig are you on this morning? Because you have a good signal, but your audio seems a little low this morning to me. But that could just be band conditions. Who knows? So back down to you, Henry. N4 Echo Delta Queen in beautiful Blue Ridge, W3 MMR.
November 8 India Echo.
Hey, Dan.
Yeah, W3 MMR, November 4 Echo Delta Queen. I'm actually on the ST2000. I'm on the 2000 and listening on the SDR in Wake Forest, North Carolina. That's the only way that I can listen to you guys right now. The static practice. So we're running the DL1000 amplifier. Let me turn it up a little. Alright, we turned it up a little bit, about 200 watt carrier. But the band is changing. The band is changing because I see myself dropping out some Nick Perry. So let me give it back to AJ1G and see if Chris copies me or not. AJ1G N4EDQ. Go ahead, Chris.
And we got Dan N8IE broke in there. So Chris, turn it to Dan N8IE when you get done.
Hopefully I'm not hitting it too hard, Johnny. I'm looking at the scope, but I'm not hitting it too hard there. But maybe the battery is just getting a little tired. I've been running a dynamotor continuously, even on the seat here. Actually, if it shuts the whole damn rig off and it just comes right back up, that's why it's turning out. I think I'll give the battery a little bit of a rest. But, yeah, it looks okay. It sounds okay in the off-air monitor here. I'm not tearing it up or anything. Yeah, it is a little what it is a 1935 AM transmitter design. Pretty basic. I guess there is a 10-wide triode speech amplifier. Probably speech amplifier. NCW with it. My grandfather might have worked on the St. Patrick's with my granddad, my father's dad, Ben. He lived in Jersey, and during the war he worked at a Arcturus radio tube company in Newark, and then Federal Radio and Television. He even had the word television in their name during the war. And they made, one of the things I know they made is the transmitter side of the McKay radio suite for the Liberty ships and the victory ships, the 167BY transmitters, with it paired up with a new SORM. McKay was, they kind of put them together, but the components were transferred to Federal side. So, yeah, my grandfather put out a hand in making a 10-wide tube in this DC-191. Yeah, if you really want to sound awful, I'll plug in a carbon mic, but it's interesting how much better these things can sound if you give them good audio. I know my little command set system sounds really nice on the West, good signal, got the stuff doing a while, but only because I can West Coast. And West, very nice, West perfect. Okay, I've got it up there, and just out there, I put it for the VHF contest, and then I got out there and had to turn around and come back. VHF contest, I was in Marconi Beach back in January.
Frequencies in use.
Years ago, actually many years ago, 1995, I think. I did it with a bunch of friends. That was a lot of fun. Out at FM 11, you're actually so far east there, you're in a very weird grid square, which is one of the reasons we operate out there. So let's see, typically back to Perry, and I don't know how the audio sounded through the house there tonight. I'm back off a bit on the other piece and hopefully it's not getting too far up. What do you see MMR EJ1G?
Yeah, I don't think it's so much the audio, Chris. I think, just curious of what the carrier to PEP output is looking like. That's all. It's just like not like overmodulated. It's like like the carrier's up too high. You know what I mean? But I could be wrong. It just could be the nature of things. But if you go to the live stream, Chris, you can rewind it on YouTube there. You can hear the difference between synchronous and regular AM. You'll see what I'm hearing. So just want to let you know with that. Okay, it goes to N8IE. Dan out in Kettering, Ohio, broke in. So Dan, N8IE, you go ahead and pick it up. I gotta start writing this down. So Henry, N4EDQ. Henry, you turn it to Chris, AJ1G. Chris turns it to N8IE. N8IE turns it to K1GTX. Wes, you turn it to me, W3MMR. We'll try to make get a rotation down here. AJ or N8IE, good morning, Dan, W3MMR.
Good morning.
Oh, drifty. Uh-oh. Technical difficulties, Dan?
Yeah, hold on a minute.
Alright, Dan, yeah, it goes up to Wes, Cape Cod. K1GTX, how you hearing everybody? Then send it down to me, W3MMR.
Alright, very good. Dan, just a tough copy on you, but I do have you. Very good. I'm having a tough copy here in Chris, too, but anyway, oh yeah, Chris, by the way, it's too bad you couldn't come here. It's always a fun time to do that Marconi thing. I was down there a couple times, and you're right, that's quite a grid square. And the last copy I had you pretty good. It seems like your modulation cleaned up. I had to, like Perry said, if I kill the synchronous detector on this thing, it sounds pretty good. I was able to get you in. You came up to almost a 10 plus there, so very good on that. And Henry, I had a good copy on you with the band's floating. I got to actually go around the back of the radio set here once I turn it to Perry. If I don't come back, I might have blown another fuse, but I got to disconnect my video system because it starts to ramp up for some reason. It wipes everyone out. So anyhow, good talking to you. Yeah, some of those pictures, Chris, are outdated. The one at the top, I think, is the current one. I've moved the rack system to another location, but it's coming back. Obviously, it's going to come back. I ran out of room here. So anyway, K1 GTX in the group, back to W3MMR.
Okay, Wes. K1 GTX W3MMR, a real good copy. You're just bombing in, like I said earlier. You're the channel master here in Philadelphia this morning, or in Chester. Excuse me. Got to represent Cheddar. Call it Cheddar, not Chester. Cheddar. CHEDDA. And Dan, you're not the strongest I've heard you this morning, but I can copy you 100%. And I love it when you key that rig up, man. How it drifts on the frequency. It's like it's got that VFO slide that the CBers look for. Because when there's another heterodyne on, or another carrier on frequency, when you key up, it heterodynes against it. So it's like, it sounds like a bomb dropping. And a lot of the CBers like that sound. They put capacitors to slow the time the radio comes on the frequency. And it does the same thing. You can watch on the Panadapter, they'll start out real low and come up, and the bigger the capacitor, the longer it takes to come on frequency. I've done it in a couple old 11-meter radios of mine back in the day, and then they've done it for a couple people too. It's literally just one electrolytic there, and it'll do it. But coming in good here, Dan. And Henry, I guess you bumped up the audio on the 2000 because you sound fantastic now. Real solid S10, 10 over S9 to 15 over S9 signal, and sounding great. So I'm turning it down to Henry. Okay. So Henry, that refrigeration thing on Facebook, is that another one of your companies? Because boy, you're just Mr. Entrepreneur, man. You got, a little. You got your hands in a little bit of everything there, Henry. N4EDQ W3MMR.
75th anniversary of DE.
Definitely getting worse.
And when call signal go around, man, we're going to get signal, let's get signal. Trying to get very strong now when you're working with here on the state. Well, I shut the BC coast down for a while, cool down. And, you know, I don't really see it. I don't see it. So, well, I want to see a little bit of negative flow on voice control without, so if I'm a little bit loading or something. But on the scope, it looks for a real good positive negative peak balance, and just every once in a while, hitting the baseline. So, just got to keep an eye. We really need a good, like, negative peak limiter in here. Processor. Just got negative peak limiter in there. Alright, now let's keep it going around. I don't want to hang on to a signal. Just got an email back from some of the folks I was corresponding with and listening to over there on 46:15 a.m. Meeting voice fucking neck. And they're really putting an invite out soon we'll put the ear out to them on 46:15 on Oak 12 over there. We'll have a lot more fun next tomorrow, and if they want to answer back, they can listen to like folks who have yet, and you probably can get it into the net. I know one thing I can do is I tried it out yesterday. Is I can take my iPhone and take the audio off the iPhone into my drive and mix it, and even while I'm transmitting, that comes through fine through the computer on my phone, and I can put it right in the audio thing. So I can easily, relay your 46:15 transmissions over there to the rest of the net. I'm going to say they might try that sometime. If you can do it, it's vice versa. We can retransmit up on 46:15 over there. When our military levels on, like at 6 to 7 in the morning, and about 5 hours ahead of us. It's not morning, but today I've listened to that actually what about tomorrow and some of the better ones. HOC Patrick Green, base with they have a museum or something there now. They go to that point there and we'll have a web SDR at it. It's a good effect. Anyhow, so let's go up the rest up there around the top state, and we'll camp out there, and we have the Marconi Beach, not the Marconi Park, the Marconi Science Center there. I remember driving out west, and when we were first married, we went out to the street, we went to the Cape, and actually dropped by WC School for the seed site in South Florida. And we do really well. We started lab operators on duty back in like 1976, and those two of them out there, and we gave me a tour. And then we actually took us home to his house for lunch. We actually, we took a lunch break, and we walked over, he was over, and we walked over to his house, and that's when he made us lunch. And then back in the 90s, we went back here, and there was nobody there except the technician, where the operations were being done over the internet, free money right out to the KFS and KTH West Coast stations, which is still operating. That's when Globe Wireless is operating, and not RCA anymore. And then I started back in the 90s and early 2000s. I thought they were making it into a subdivision or something, but what they were doing was, building independent fires on the Science Museum, which is a very used to it. I have not been out there. I was going to go out on the floor and make it now. Can't make it, but I'm looking forward to when they open up again. I want to go out there and check out the museum. So over to you, C1, 1-4, you're on the phone, 6-5. What did you do when you search for us out there? EJ1G.
It goes out to Dan, NAIA, then it goes up to Paul there. Pick it up, Dan, NAIA, W3 MMR.
We're not quite awake yet.
Oh, no, you're fine. Oh, you're fine, Chris. N8IE, pick it up.
N8IE, it's your turn.
He must be having some technical difficulties. Anyway, pick it up, Wes.
Okay, K1GTX in the group. All right, very good, Chris. Yeah. Well, the place, I don't know the last time you've been here on the Cape, but it's changed quite a bit, especially Hyannis. But yeah, back in the day when you were here, it was great to live here, and there wasn't much traffic, and it was an awesome place. But like everything, it changes. But that's cool. I think that WCC, I think I may have spoken to him a long time ago. That's cool that you met somebody to bring you back for lunch and everything, kind of like an Elmer type of dude, I imagine. And yeah, that's great. Before the cell phone, right? So everyone was on these things. Luckily, though, it seems to be picking up. I know Connor is on there. He's doing a bang-up job there out there. In Portland there, and hopefully he gets his amplifier going so I can hear him. He was actually on later last night down the band. He came in booming, but I had the transmitter shut off at that point. But yeah, I've also got a 7600 I'm going to put online here. Not today, but just rearranging the shack there. And that thing sounds pretty good on here too. Not as good as this thing, but for a rice box, it sounds pretty good. And Chris, you came in really, really good that last time. Like I say, I do have to slide up here because you're like Perry says, your energy. If I look at the center you carry, it's all towards the right-hand side. There's probably nothing you can do about it. It's not terrible, but it sounds okay to me anyway. So, especially for the age of that thing's gonna outlive all of us. And I love the cool sound of the dynamo in the background. So, K1GTX in the group, back to Perry.
K1GTX in the group W3MMR. Well, real good copy, Wes. Still coming in. The strongest here, sounding great. And yeah, Chris was mentioned earlier about the upper sideband energy. The I guess depending on how you load the finals and how you neutralize them and so on and so forth, has an effect on where what sideband it transmits on. He said it can sometimes it transmits on upper, sometimes it transmits on lower sideband with a carrier, sometimes it transmits on both. So it's one of those things, man. One of them old quirks there. So oh brother, yep. Yeah, work today. What's today? Friday? Hey, payday. And it's Henry had to step away. Henry texted me, said he had to go help his wife. So I guess it's just us three in here: Chris, Wes, and myself there. So I was going to ask you something, Chris, but I can't remember. God, I cannot remember. Anyway, maybe I'll think about it. Hopefully. Anyway, one thing I do need to do, I gotta buy a new air conditioner, man. I don't have central air here in the house. I got, use window units. I gotta buy. I used one last year, and like I didn't, like I slept downstairs most of all summer because I only had the one AC unit. Didn't have one in my bedroom, and I actually had a bed set up downstairs in the living room. But I don't want to do that this year. So I'm looking for like a big, 8,000 BTU window unit for down here to cool the living room and out here in the shack, and then buy a small one for the bedroom there. So I'm looking for one that could be quiet, if that's possible. Because heck, I'll get two smaller ones, one small one for out here, one small one for the living room, and then another small one for upstairs if I can find one that's quiet for out here in the shack. But I don't know if that's possible. So maybe one of you guys could speak on it if you know of a good quiet air conditioner. Anyway, back to you, Chris. And 7-3 to Henry. And Chris, drag your feet for a second. See if Dan's back in there. N8IE. Well, actually, no, Chris, it goes to you, and then, Chris, when you turn it to Wes, you drag your feet, and we'll see if Dan's back in there. AJ1G, W3MMR. Is it just me, Wes, or is it getting worse? Is she still transmitting?
Yep, he is. Like an egg.
Hi, Andy. Yeah, he's got to be having a problem. Wow.
No, he's still talking.
Okay, very good, Chris. Yeah, I think the band's shifting. I think there's another breaking station in here, too. So we'll pick you right up there. And, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, the band's dying. And you know what really gets to me? Someone around here was keying up during half. I don't know why people tune right up on the center of the frequency when there's a QSO going on. It just drives me insane. But anyway, that's enough of that. So I think let's turn it back to Perry. I think there was someone else in there, and perhaps Dan is back as well. So K1GTX in the group. Back to W3MMR.
All right, well, K1GTX W3MMR. We got Andrew. My buddy Andy out in Long Island, N2YKX. November 2, Yankee Kilo Xanadu. Haha, like that. People are like, what? Z? No, it's not a Z. Well, Xanadu spelled with an X, dummy. Sorry. Yeah, Chris, I completely lost you, man. 100% lost you. Looks like you started drifting up the band, and I don't know. To me, it sounds like I could hear you in the beginning of the transmission there. It sounds like whatever I'm hearing is getting worse, because I couldn't even really make out what you were saying with how muffled and distorted it was sounding. So I would check, just double check things on your end there. But that's what I'm hearing here, and it's both on synchronous and on regular AM. So I'm gonna sign for a bit. I'm gonna go run down and talk to the old man on sideband for a little while, and we'll come back here in a little bit and catch back up with you guys. But good morning to you, Andrew, and great talking to you again, Wes. And Chris, great hearing you fellers, and Henry that signed, and Dan and AIE was in there, but I think he's having technical issues. So 7-3 to you, Dan, and yeah, Wes and Andrew, you guys go ahead and pick it up. I'll send it over to you, Andy, and Andrew. Before I go, tell me if Andy's okay, or would you rather Andrew? I'm just curious. Over to you, Andrew. We'll catch up with you guys in a bit. N2YKX with K1GTX. And AJ1G. This is W3MMR.
Yeah, Andrew is what I usually go by, or people call me Drew. Some people call me Drew. The people call me Andy, and I used to call me Green. Yep. Andy.
W2 SDR. Didn't even I'll turn it down a little bit. That's a little bit better. How you doing? Nothing. I put a break in up there on down there on 45, but guys are talking so much that I just did my call, and that was all I could get in. So Joe called me on the Fusion radio. I've been talking to him for the last 20 minutes.
Oh, that's cool. How's Joe doing?
Oh, he's doing great. He's doing a lot of renovations in his house there. He's got a big double wide down there, and new carpet, his wife wanted the furniture rearranged, and she didn't care about the outlets not being there, or the cable, and none of the rest for the TV. So he had a cable guy over there redo all the cables and the Ethernet and all that, all this rewiring and all. So,
oh, what a pain.
Yeah. Well, his wife is real. A lot of women are like that. I mean, you like they change stuff around all the time, you know, to make their house theirs. So, rearranging the furniture, new floor, new this, new that, put the TV over there, and all of that, you know.
Right. Well, that's cool, man. Well, it's yeah, Joe's a super nice guy. I really I like Joe there. And how am I coming in over there this morning? You hear me all right?
Yeah, hear you good. How's the amp working good, huh?
The amp's working fantastic. It's working. It's better than it's ever worked, and I'm pretty much getting the same output. Maybe takes a little, maybe 1 watt or 2 watts to drive it. 2 watts, you know, more out of the radio to drive it to the same what I was doing before. I guess from the lower plate voltage. But like you were telling me, I mean, the difference is negligible. But no, man, it's running cooler. The transformer's running a hell of a lot cooler. What else was I going to say? I would get the carrier dropping issue if I was running, you know, 225 watts. After I was just keyed up for about 1 minute and 50 seconds to 2 minutes, carrier would start to fall by about 1 watt a second. And, you know, I made a nice 3-minute transmission this morning, and the damn carrier at 275 watts, and the carrier was it was about 260 watts, and the carrier was rock solid the entire time. It didn't move. So, yeah, I guess, I don't know how or why whoever wired that transformer like that, thinking that they, you know, knew more than Henry amplifier knew, but whatever it was, it wasn't right, and now that it's right, everything's working right. W3MMR.
What happens with that transformer? It's the same transformer. It's got 2 secondaries in it. You know, it has the filament transformer is in the same transformer as the high voltage. And if your filament voltage is too high, you know, any parameter gets higher, and the other parameters get higher. So I'm trying to say that if the filament voltage is too high on the tube, it's going to also draw more amps. And if it draws more amps,